Broadcast is live. And we are live on Discovery Paranormal. A little confusion going on here, man. I think that ultimately things will straighten itself out. But you can still see Michelle DeRocha on the other side of my screen, even though she's not on the show tonight, man. One day she can come on. I invite everybody on Discovery Paranormal, but I don't really have a lot of guests on. You know why? It's a 1 hour show, and then it doesn't give me enough time to talk if, if guests on. So tonight's show is about you. It's about you thinking you're an empath. Okay. And a lot of people tell me that they're an empath. They're like, I have these feelings and this and that, and I'm like, really? Are you an empath? Empaths usually suffer the most unless they understand how to kind of keep things at bay, as it were. Because energy can wash upon you, especially negative energy. Oh my God, it is the worst, worst, worst. But tonight we're going to talk about the 13 signs that you are an empath, and spirituality, of course, and how to protect yourself from people's negative stuff. I'm going to teach you how to make a shield, man, a shield of energy to keep those demons away. So, what is an empath? An empath is someone who is highly aware of the emotions of those around them. So, basically, empaths see the world differently than other people. They are keenly aware of others, their pain points, and what they need emotionally. So, and it's not just emotions, right? I think that there's books out there. There's Dr. Judith Orloff. She was author of The Empath's Survival Guide. I haven't read it, but I've read excerpts from it. And then, she kind of goes into how empaths can feel, the physical pain of other people too. I know a lot of people like that. I'm like that too, especially with animals. And you just kind of feel it, man. You feel like what they're going through, and like being my mom was battling cancer, being in that chemo suite with her, you know, you could feel it from other people, man. You could feel that energy, just that drawing you in, and it's so heavy. So, but highly sensitive people, also called HSPs, are also empaths, but there is a little difference between empath and HSP. Having a high degree of empathy is just one of the four traits that make someone an HSP. And HSPs are sensitive to many kinds of stimuli in addition to emotions. It's likely that most empaths are highly sensitive, but not all highly sensitive people are necessarily empaths. So how's that? Stick that in your pipe and smoke it. So how do you know if you're an empath? Like the people, how do you know if you're a PhD scientist and you're an expert in COVID-19? And like the people who come to me and they tell me all this stuff about COVID, and I know them, I know their job, and they have nothing to do with science. Where do you get your information from? Oh, they said. Well, who's they? You know who they are? People don't know. So, whatever. Where did you get your PhD, sucker? So, whatever. There are people telling me, I'm an empath. But then they're like the most selfish people you've ever met in your life. I think probably being an empath and selfishness is two broad spectrums away from one another. So, anyway, how do you know if you're an empath? All right. You take on other people's emotions as your own. So it's a classic number one trait of empathy. No matter what someone else near you is feeling, even if they're not showing it, you're likely to pick up on it immediately. But more than that, you may actually feel the emotion as if it were your own, essentially absorbing or sponging it up. Like going out into large crowds of people, it's interesting because if you're an empath and then you're in a large crowd, let's say you're at a concert, and everybody's having a really great time. Not that one the other day when people died, but if you're at a concert and people, it's somewhat controlled and people are having a good time, and you're an empath, you're feeling the vibe, man. You're drawing it in that nice moment. So the good things, the good events are awesome. But I'll tell you something, like when 9/11 happened or other things around the world, and I feel like someone kicked me in my gut, it just brings you down, and holds you down unless you know how to deal with it. And I had to start learning how to deal with my own thing as an empath. So, and a lot of people have a lot of ideas on everything. And then the brain and what it does and its process with the whole thing, the spirit and whatever. So yeah, you can go back and forth about what an empath really is. It's more about how you can, this is the deal. It doesn't really matter what an empath is. If you are empathic, you have a duty to yourself to be happy in life and understand your abilities, understand your limitations, understand where things are at, and then you understand more about the world. So it's about your own journey. The Buddha said, number one, check your ego at the door. Number two, we're all on our own mission, man. Every person's on their own mission. If you think about that statement, and you compare that to organized religions, even though Buddhism is a religion, yeah, that people made it into, and I don't follow any Buddha. I like a lot of people from history and the things that they said, and people who had a kind of gentler sense about them, or whatever, man. The people who kind of just stimulated any kind of positivity for people that needed it. So, but unlike the Buddha, I'm more of a take it leave it kind of person, you know. So, and then when you're on your own mission. So, does that mean a preacher can tell you what to do? No. Does that mean, all right, let's say you're on your own mission and here's a Bible in front of you. You're going to read that Bible. The information in there and what it means to you individually is what the deal is, not what somebody else's interpretation of that is for you, because we're all on our own mission, right? So, and our interpretation of things is all different. So sometimes you experience as an empath sudden overwhelming emotions when you're in public. And then it depends what kind of person you are, what kind of empath you are, and what kind of charge you get out of what kind of emotion. And some people like to cry and watch those sad movies, right? And the same thing in public. There's some people like to laugh and have a good time. If you're in a place that has a lot of good energy, that's the best possible situation. Not the places that are just dogged down, right? So if you're an empath, it can be challenging to go into public spaces unless you know how to shield yourself. Towards the end of the show, I'm going to tell people how to shield yourself, how to keep out the bad stuff and let in the good stuff. And also how to manipulate energy to make it work for you. You know what I mean? So how about this? Number three, the vibe of a room matters to you a lot. So just like I said, you want to be in that positive flow. So perhaps unsurprisingly, empaths are extremely sensitive to feel or the feel or the atmosphere of their surroundings, right? When surrounded by peace and calm, they flourish because they take on those qualities internally themselves. For the same reason, places of beauty can be transformative for empaths, whether It's a quiet garden, a lovely bedroom, or the halls of a museum. Likewise, chaotic or depressing environments will quickly pull the energy out of the empath. Four, you understand where people are coming from, you know? So let's see. Basically, it's a core trait of an empath, even more than understanding the emotions. Empaths can learn about how to absorb more about where people are coming from, the direction they're going in, and understanding more about them, right? And it's a sense. It's something you don't even have to think about. It's an interpretation. It just comes right over at you, you know. And people are very thin. They're very easy to see through. You know, some people are more transparent than others, but all you need to do is feel that flow of energy, and you automatically know what you're dealing with. You know, and then your gut will tell you what the deal is. Your brain might say something else. If your brain goes against your gut, the gut will win every time, and I've experienced that. So, but empaths are all about fundamentally understanding and connecting with other people. That's their ability anyway. Does an empath want to connect with other people? Is it their raison d'etre to do that type of stuff? Is it good for them, especially people who are very, 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 very sensitive and dealing with ruthless people? Is that something you want to absorb? You know, especially since so many negative people are looking for that light. They're looking for it. They want to snuff it out. Tell me I'm lying. They want to snuff it out. They see that light in you. They want to take it from you. So when you're an empath, people tend to turn to you for advice. So, with such insight, empaths are frequently sought out by their friends for advice, support, and encouragement. It helps that empaths also tend to be good listeners and will often patiently wait for someone to say what they need to say and then respond. You see, in radio, you really can't do that, and then it's competitive. And then if you don't speak up, you're not going to be heard. So I mean, we like right here on the United Public Radio Network, we have some spirited shows where you just have to boom, 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 talk. If you don't talk, you're not going to be heard. And there's that taking turn stuff. It's not as fun, you know what I mean? So, all right, let's see. People can be going through some hard times. People don't always realize, although, how much energy it takes to be the listener and the advice giver. And some people take it for granted. People get drained. I know empaths that counsel people and whatever, and they tell me that they get drained. And it's kind of funny. Like I said, it depends on you and the person that you're counseling or talking to, because you should be able to turn that energy into any type of energy. There's transformative energy. Energy doesn't have a name to it necessarily. It's energy. You could have negative stuff going on, positive stuff going on, but you can take negative things and turn them positive, and vice versa. So it all depends what you do with it. I mean, you're like, here's a lump of energy. Do something with it. And if it comes through in a negative way, I mean, if you're counseling someone and you're helping them, you're turning something positive in their lives. Just that instance alone of what you're doing is lighting a candle in their dark space. And I think that if you feel dogged down, you need to understand more about energy and the science of it in your own self. So, how about this? Tragic or violent events on TV can completely incapacitate you. So, if you're an empath, it doesn't matter what horrible event is happening, you still feel it through your entire being. You may seem to like live through the pain or loss of the event, even if you're thousands of miles away, or indeed, even if it's a fictional event in a show. Isn't that funny? A fictional event in a show. This reaction can completely be overwhelming. Now, I would disagree with that right there. I think if you're affected by a fictional event in a show, you're not tapping any energy that's out there. It's just some some Hollywood claptrap or whatever, right? You know, what I talk about is especially that entropy type of energy when it's happening. A real empath will get the feeling of it ahead of time, and man, when there's a divot coming in the road, you can feel it coming, and it doesn't matter what it is, and it's very hard to put your finger on what it is at times. You just feel it. You just feel how big it is and how heavy it is and that it's coming, and it's you that needs to decide what you're going to do with it. Like in martial arts, right? We talk a lot about energy and moving things around. But if you're standing on railroad tracks and a freight train's coming at you at 50 miles an hour, you are not going to be physically able to stop that energy, but you can get out of the way and transform the energy and let the railroad go where it goes, right? And that's how you're dealing with something on these grand scales. If you're standing in the middle of the way of that type of thing, you're not going to survive. It's just impossible. It's the blending of energy from one thing to another. That's what gives you the ability to get the hell out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So, like 9/11, when I was watching 9/11 happen on TV, my dogs woke up and started because they were like sleeping, started crying for no reason. They were like flipping out. I was like, "What's going on?" And then my ex girlfriend was outside, like working in the garden, and then she came up to me and she was like, "Oh my God, an airplane just went into the World Trade Center." Like she heard it on whatever radio she was listening to outside, and we put television on, and it was like, wow, and it was just a devastating event, and all those people jumping from the building, dying. Just taking their last few breaths, and you're watching it happen. That is something that could be devastating to anybody, any human, any person, and more so to empaths. You know, and when an empath wants to heal people, not hurt people, right? When these events are going on, terrible things are happening, and you can't put your finger on it to stop it. You just have to witness it. You just have to let the energy go. You have to know that you didn't do anything to start that train of energy, and you also couldn't do anything to stop it. It's something that had happened because of the times in politics and all that. We as people don't want to get bogged down in that type of thing. It's part of the machine, and you want to be part of the machine. That's what it is. You stay away from it because it doesn't do any good to be part of it. It doesn't make you happy. And was if people find some kind of happiness and all that, maybe Wall Street people crunching numbers, and there's a seat for every ass. So it depends on what you like and what you want to do. But I would say, especially for empaths, just stay on the path of the best energy possible, or be able to transform the energy. That's not, negative energy. I don't know, like 9/11, you can't transform that into anything really, as far as I'm concerned. It's just so dense and huge. You know, you have to, but helping people, counseling people, listening to their negative stories or whatever, but being able to bring light into their lives, that's very positive. So, number 7. You can't contain your love for pets, animals, or your babies. So everyone knows that babies are adorable little miracles. Human babies, I don't know, man. Yeah, they're cute, kind of. They got the little goo goo kind of thing going on. They're cute. But the diaper thing and all that other stuff that goes with it, which is daily, it's daily. It ain't like the diaper thing happens every 2 or 3 or 4 days. It ain't like cleaning out a litter box. Much easier. Walking the dog or letting the dog out in the yard so he can poop and come back in. That's like no work at all, right? But a baby's hard work. A kid is hard work. A kid is years of hard work and labor. You know that? And at any given time, explosive stuff can be coming out of them from anything at all. You know? Been there, done that. Ugh. So yeah, An empath can't contain love, but you have cats, dogs. I think people love their pets more than they love their kids. Sometimes it's interesting to say, but cats, dogs, all that. For those of you that feel much stronger energy, you may not be able to help yourself from gushing over someone's lovely little child. That's also something I don't do. If I'm in a store, usually the kid's annoying me, doing something, you know, like just fighting or being angry or being disrespectful to their parents. I see like a lot of that. As a matter of fact, since I've been using Instacart, I don't see any of it. I don't mind sitting here and ordering food and have people bring it up to me. In fact, I love that. Love it. Instacart wants me to do ads for them. I'll do ads for you all. I'll sing songs about Instacart. But and it actually saves me money, which is the better part of it. And I don't have to go into the store and drag my bones through these supermarkets full of COVID-19, having to wait online and a whole bunch of obnoxious people, man. Yeah. And those people's kids running around, grabbing stuff, asking for stuff. I would ask my mom for something. She'd say, no. And that's it. Ma'am, please, please, please. I was in the store one time. There was these two kids. They were probably around 10 or 11. I called them the Wine Brothers. And there's this woman. She's with them. She looks, kind of frazzled. I don't blame her, but because like we want this and we want it. They were like whining, like howling cats or something. People were laughing, like listening to these two go at it. And that's just bad parenting. Bad parenting. You want to tell the person, what the hell's wrong with you? Look at these kids whining, man. Ugh. So I don't know if I have a lot of empathy for other people's kids. You just want to, yeah, they could be cute. Oh, look at that kid, so cute and whatever. Yeah, yeah. Then you move on with your life. I know about gushing over some kid, but especially if it's not yours. The only thing you'd be thankful for is it's not yours. And you don't have to support it. Is that terrible to say? Maybe. But then kids, you're supposed to raise them the right way, and they make you proud, man. They go out there in the world and they do their thing. That's what it's supposed to be. So I'm going to leave that there. But number 8, you might feel people's physical illness, right? And not just their emotions. So when someone is sick or injured, you might feel, go far to feel their ailments. Like I said before about the cancer suite, it can be uncomfortable for some, debilitating. Uh, you know, they may not view it as a gift if they're starting to feel all these things. But like I said, also, it's what you do with it. And you also have to be able to shield yourself. I think that a lot of people just don't understand what they're made of, you know, and there's not a lot of, you're not going to learn about this in school, your standard school, maybe some Harry Potter, but not in the real world. You're not going to learn about empathy or empaths in general. You're not going to learn about people with sensitivities or abilities, that go beyond their five senses, or amplify the senses that they have, things like that too, right? So with an empath, number 9, you can become overwhelmed in an intimate relationship, right? So relationships can be challenging for everyone. Lord, I know. But imagine how much bigger those challenges are when you can sense every little mood, irritation, or yes, even lie from your partner. Then imagine being with someone who's sarcastic and nasty all the time. And then on top of that, they're absolutely narcissistic, psychopathic, narcissistic, selfish, and always unhappy with everything everyone does around, never happy, never satisfied. Yeah. That's it. And then, as positive emotions can be overwhelming at times, in a relationship, the negative emotions may engulf you. But it's more than that. Once you live together, you share the environment. That's also a hurdle. A cohabiting partner's energy is always present for an empath, and can almost feel like an intrusion. Empaths view their homes as sanctuaries where they can get away from constant demand on their emotional sense. So imagine a 24-hour day continual swing of a ball peen hammer smacking you in the forehead and your third eye. Yeah, that too. And you're raising somebody else's kids, which was a joy at times, but not that other stuff. So while some empaths choose to remain single for this reason, others learn to adapt, perhaps by having a room that's private space, like a man cave or a woman cave. What do they call them? They don't call them woman caves. Bird's nest or something? I don't know. And it's important to have your own space. I have to say that. And a partner who respects their boundaries. Number 10, you're a walking lie detector. Sure, there's probably times that you've been with someone that deceived you, but even then, you knew that you were going against your gut instinct from the start. Remember, I talked about the gut. The thing about an empath's ability to process even the tiniest social cues means that it's almost impossible for someone to hide their true intentions. I've seen people like they were made of saran wrap since I was a young child, man. You know what? Nobody got anything over on me. You know what? Never. I always knew what I was dealing with. And even if I played along with them, I always knew what the deal was. And that was a gift. It was a gift from God. I would say that all the time. It's a gift to be able to have that. And also truly know people. You know, when you size them up, you know them. Doesn't matter what they say. And people are what they do, honestly. So you can also know them for that. But to understand that about people puts you at the advantage in dealing with them and deciding if you want to deal with them, right? So, number 11, you can't understand why any leader would put their teams first, right? There are plenty of managers and group organizers who simply don't pay attention to their team's needs, right? They don't put their teams first. If you're an empath, this isn't just rude or annoying, it's failure of leadership. Partly this is because empaths can make excellent leaders themselves. When they do, it's always by listening to their teams and uniting people around shared goals. Empaths tend to be thoughtful and attentive, making sure that each team member feels heard. The result isn't just a happier group of people, it's making better decisions by getting all the information. And this goes to everything, not just the workplace. It goes to school. It goes to your personal relationships too, and the people that you're dealing with. You know, I mean, if you're part of a group, it's important to have those people heard and understand their feelings, and for you too, you know, right? So, number 12, you can have a calming effect on other people and the power to heal them. It's true. Just as people seek out empaths for advice, they also just feel more at peace in their empath's presence. In fact, people often unwittingly seek out their most empathic friends during difficult times. This is something, usually because they're the ones who will, come out and help you to begin with, so they get used to doing that, right? Pavlov's dog. It is something that you can develop and use to actually heal people in the sense of helping them work past serious emotional baggage and overcome unhealthy patterns. If you want to, where is it written that you have to go out there and help all these people anyway, man? I'll play devil's advocate. We're all on our own mission. You ever know people that always need help all the time? And you'll help them and 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 help them. And then still they're messed up. And if you didn't help them, they still be messed up. So it really comes down to negative enabling. One, you got to stay away from that. But Making people feel good as an empath. I'll tell you a story. A long, long time ago on Long Island, when I was between jobs, I was working in the club business, right? And then I lost my job because the club had closed down and went to open up another club on whatever. It was all complicated. So I'm like, okay, I can float for a while. I'm all right. And then my friend told me about driving a taxi cab on this place in Long Island. And I'm like, ugh, taxi cab is going to run to the worst goddamn people, you know. And he's like, no, it's all airport service. You'll make a ton of money. Hey, man. So I did it. I signed up. Everybody was super cool. The other drivers were cool. We did our own thing. Nobody really, we worked is what you do. You work, but I was making like 2,000 bucks a week, serious money, when a lot of it in tips anyway. So I stayed with it for like 6 or 7 months until I got my next gig. But so then it was like this, right? This dude, I'm waiting outside of him, get a call. It's like, early in the morning, bars closed. I'm waiting for this guy to come out. And he comes out of this bar, he slams the door, boom! I'm like, oh, Jesus, this is going to be interesting. He gets in, super angry, pissed off at the bar, pissed off at the people in there. And his energy was just shooting all over the place. I let him rant, you know, did my thing. And then I started telling him about like Lao Tzu. I mean, I was into that. I was into Lao Tzu and Taoism when I was like 12 or 13. I think I found, all of that and got really into it. And then, martial arts and got into that and kind of, used all that philosophy for all that direction. Anyway, I'm telling him about this Lao Tzu. This is cool quotes, things I like. And then the guy was going to a town that was 15, 20 minutes away. So, and then we talked. I got him there. The dude just about to get out of the car, and he's like, I feel totally great right now. And I'm like, that's good, And he's like, you know what? He's like, I don't know what you did, but he's like, I don't even know why the hell I was mad. He's like, I'm feeling really good. And I'm like, well, I'm glad, man. Dude tipped me $20. That was cool. But it's about telling people healing stories, right? I learned that from shaman. You have to just take that energy like the freight train and get out of its way, and then understand what you want to do with it. So anyway, number 13, you can't see someone in pain without wanting to help them, right? So think about that. Can you walk past someone who's truly in need? I don't know a lot of people that can, if someone knocked on your door and they asked for food, I don't know anybody that would say no. Get out of here. Well, I'm sure there are people out there, but my personal friends and people that I know, even acquaintances, I don't know anybody that would do that. So I think that there is there is something to that act of kindness, number one. And kind gets you kind. If you're kind to someone, you give them the opportunity to be kind back to you, right? If you're not kind to them, same. So, and yeah, people take kindness as weakness. People do all kinds of stuff. It doesn't matter. It matters who you are and your energy. It's like giving a gift. Do you give the gift to get something back? Or do you give the gift because you're a giver and you wanted to put a little bit of light in someone's life, make them a little happier, right? And it's not expected. It's not like having kids and Christmas and basically there's a price and then you have to fall within that zone. It's like a negotiation. Man. Everything they want is $400 or more. It's not like it used to be. I was happy with GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip, man. Let me tell you, I was big on my block with the GI Joe with the Kung Fu grip. There's a lot of people that don't understand that. And I had the helicopter. You know, when I went down Christmas morning, I saw that, man. My mom was a single working mom. You know that, and making crap money. This is a long time ago too, but she still got it together to give everything she could to her children and the people around her, and bake Christmas cookies for everyone she knew, make plates and plates and plates of them. That's kindness and love and a gift that it comes from your heart. And when you give like that and you care like that, people recognize that. And some people want to use it for their own, take it for themselves, or destroy it. Yeah, you're always going to have those people out there. The thing is about being intuitive is understanding who's around you and what their aim is, right? So, but who could let someone be in pain, or animals in pain? Animals, they're innocent. There are people that do terrible things to animals. Animals are innocent. I have no love for those people. I was as soon as see them in a hole covered with dirt for hurting animals. And there's something about someone that likes to hurt innocents, whether it's animals, children, or just a regular old person, man. Of taking something from them. It's a demonic type of energy. It really is a terrible, evil type of energy. So that's stuff you want to stay away from. And there's a lot of them out there. But for an empath, the people are people and animals, right? Are the brightest things on their radar. And but I don't know. It's like this: is it the empath's raison d'etre to absorb that energy and to feel that energy, right? Yeah, because it's how you're made. But what's more important, your happiness or in interpreting different energy, right? So I don't know. I've made a life out of it, right? And not, you know, I learned when I was young the games I used to play in my head were real things like that people do in this life in the paranormal world, like remote viewing. I used to do that all the time, and it's just interesting that years and years and years later, and I never told anybody about that stuff. It was just all little things I did, never told anybody, and I've always been fascinated with spirit, with the brain, with that type of stuff. And you know, I have a lot of friends who are spiritual, and they describe themselves as spiritual, not religious, which I think is probably the best way to go in this world, because the world will take things from you if you let it, right? When I was learning martial arts, this guy was teaching me, and you know, became like a pretty cool mentor. My friend Dr. Chai, right? And then he would tell me all these really cool things that would set my mind on fire. He understood how my brain worked and how he could plant a seed, and how that was going to just go and go and go, you know, and I appreciate that every day when I think about those times, right? And so you need that nurturing. You need, if you have that energy, and you're just on your own, it's a lot of figuring out to do. But if you have mentors and guidance, or even modeling yourself after people that you like, their success, that's a way to get to success, right? So, but when it comes to energy and you know people, and what people will do and won't do to you, that's the thing to understand about yourself. So I know a lot of people that get damaged by others, and it's like, I can't believe this, I can't believe they did this, and whatever. What can't you believe? People are capable of doing anything. People that you might know for 30 years are capable of doing anything. So does that mean live your life of no trust? You're gonna live your life, always waiting or anticipating for someone for doing something? No. You live your life. You do your own thing. I look at it this way. I'm on a pirate ship. That's right. I can be a pirate. It's 2021. I can be whatever I want to be. I identify as a pirate. Yar, yar. And everyone on the ship with me is part of the crew, man. And the cannons face outward, you know. So does that mean people can't betray you? Psh, people do it all the time because they're weak. It's weakness. That weakness or a flaw, some type of freaky flaw going on in there, right? Are the ones who follow along organized religion like sheep, and just kind of don't have a mind of their own. They don't even understand the people in their own Bible. I like to know people intimately. I like to understand about people, what motivates them, if I care to. It's not like I spend all my time either doing that, because I'm also looking at my own happiness. So anyway, how about this? Let's talk about a few ways of protecting yourself if you're an empath. Protecting yourself from other people's negative, crappy intrusion on your spiritual bliss, right? You're sitting there on top of your mountain, you're meditating, you're breathing in the mountain air, the sun, and the birds, maybe some clouds. Ah, yeah, it's quiet. You're listening to nature, nature's singing to you. All of a sudden, someone in a loud, obnoxious machine, an ATV, right past you with their cloud of dust and exhaust. And there goes your little blissful thing. Now, the person on the ATV, that's bliss for them. That's what they're enjoying themselves, having a great time. They don't give a crap about you because you're not bothering them just being what you're being, right? But they're taking that energy from you and making you focus on them. And then all of a sudden you might have a kind of a thing. Oh, those people are. I tend to think that people who make a lot of noise with their vehicles and machines want a voice but don't have one. They don't have a mind for putting words together or doing anything like that. So they just need to, hit a throttle and yang, 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 right? So, but you know what I think of those moments? I think of how fortunate that person really is to get to do that and enjoy themselves. And I know the irritation is not going to last that long. It's going to go by, and then they're on their own path. I'm on my own path. It's like that. Maybe I put some headphones on and listen to some Primus or something. I don't know. Led Zeppelin. There's a lot of ways of offloading energy, right? So, how about this? The one thing, the first thing you should do in a relationship and any relationship in your world is set boundaries. You show people the door and say, that's where it is. If you cross this line, you're going out the door, you know? So having healthy boundaries is important for everyone. And when you're an empath, it can be very useful to have that. So empaths often feel just so full of other people's emotions, they lose track of their own needs. So it's like saying no. You have to be able to shut it off. Like John Edwards, John Edwards, right? My mom and my sister actually went to go see him as a psychic when he was in St. John's University, going to college there years and years and years ago. Right? And my sister actually found him, because she lived in Maspeth, Queens, so she was like right there. And this guy was so cool and so intelligent about what he does, and he teaches people how to shut things down when things become too much, And he's a great medium. He's got people talking at him all the time. He said he would have lost his mind if he wasn't able to shut them down. So, but if you have a person in your life you find particularly draining, you set your boundaries. You decide how much of your energy you're gonna give up to them, and it could mean pointing them to other forms of support, right? Or simply turning down invitations from people. There are people that just invite you to something, a party, a get together, or whatever. Even with COVID-19, probably not a good idea, but you know you're going to be drained from that person, because if that's what they do to you, they've got the upper hand over you. No one should be able to control your own emotions but you, right? So you can try things like journaling. People like to have a journal. I don't write stuff down because it's evidence. You know what I mean? If you say journal to me, I say evidence to you. And I don't want to hear my journal read back to me in court for whatever. I'm just saying, watch out for what the hell you write down. But and by the way, it happens all the time. As a PI back in the day, there are people who always use people's journals in court against them, couples and all that, especially in divorces. So journaling, yeah. So, but yeah, you can write down things, or maybe have a secret file on your computer, you know, encrypted with like 15 characters, whatever, man. How about this? You can start a mindful practice. Get to know what you need, recognize your own feelings, and mindfulness can help with this. Whether you do this through meditation or an activity like coloring, man. Some people like coloring books. They sit there, do their thing. Some people buy toys. They go to toy stores for kids. They buy toys, and it's for themselves. Legos, things like that. I used to love my Legos, but it's something that can offload that energy. It's something that can push it away. It's something that can preoccupy your mind, right? Even messing around with it. And toys are fun. You know what I mean? So there's also knitting or walking. Yeah, it's for, I don't know who the hell you're talking to. Ain't me. Walking, I like. Knitting, I can sit there and knit. My friends would check me into an insane asylum if they found me knitting. Came walking on me, and here I am in the dark knitting. I've got a nice scarf for you. Like Mike's lost it completely. It's time. It's time. Put him out of his misery. Check him into the funny farm. That's all. Will there be pudding there? Yes, yes, pudding. Pudding with cream on top. Ooh. All right. But it is helpful to set time aside to be quiet and present. That's my problem too. Is quiet. I can never be quiet. I talk during movies. I talk when I'm driving down the road. I talk in my sleep. I talk right now on radio. That's why I'm on the radio. I talk so much. So, and I realized that it was a good vent for me to let stuff go years and years and years ago. When I first got into all this stuff. So, but you make time, the quiet time, it can help you replenish your energy, making you more resilient and be able to handle other people's bullcrap. Uh, Number four, try visualization techniques. If you're going into a scenario, and by the way, we call this a pre-dress rehearsal in show business. If I go take the stage for comedy or something, you want to be able to act out in your mind what you're going to say, what's going to happen, how things are going to go. And you also don't want to have too many expectations, man, but enough where it becomes like second nature, right? But if you're going into a scenario that you know is going to be draining, a party, and see now again, I don't consider the parties draining. It's energy, and I like to use that energy for myself. I don't need to be the life of the party, but I usually am because I'm always on. And when people are falling asleep, I'm still going, like the little Energizer bunny rabbit type of gig with lithium batteries. So, for example, a particularly different conversation, it's worth trying to visualize those techniques. Imagine you have a glass wall between you and the person you're speaking to. So while you can continue to engage in conversation, you're protected. See, I don't do that. It's stupid. This is stupid, man. I know I'm reading it, but I digress. No, You need to be the boy in the plastic bubble. You need to create that energy, that white light around you, and keep it flowing and get that white light going through you, inside of you, and then you have that presence. I never give a sucker an even break, man. I never let someone go toe to toe with me. I am the big dog, and I go out there and I let them know, and then that's all that they need to know. Once you establish that with people, within the first few seconds of knowing them, they know what you're made of and they know what not to do with you. You know, they'll have respect for that presence. When you have presence like that, people understand it because it's a feeling, right? So, number 5, get back to nature regularly. See, and I said all the time, I hang out with waterfalls, I hang out with lakes, I hang out with all kinds of stuff. If I didn't have nature, like that's a city, man. But even, the city, limited nature, but there is nature there. It's a different type of nature. And there's things that you can appreciate about the cities that even the country doesn't have. And that flow of energy is also nature because humans are also nature. In fact, when people say supernatural, I don't even like the term because nothing is above nature. Everything is nature. You know what I mean? So, and how about you plan for that emotional overload? You be prepared, right? You have that chocolate bar behind glass, ready to break that thing when things fall apart, you know? So the trick is to understand what triggers you and what triggers your empathic tendencies and understand how to reroute things away from there. So I hope you guys got something out of all this. I always do. And it's always fun to put the information out there. Happy, joyful, laughing type of people. Keep the negativity away. Lao Tzu said that negativity was like carrying around a dead rat, and that the only thing you're going to experience is the smell of that dead rat, the decay, and the overall unpleasantness of the whole experience. And you'll never be able to eat good food, taste fresh fruit, or smell the beautiful flowers in life with that dead rat hanging around your neck. So get rid of the dead rat. I'll see you guys next week on Discovery Paranormal. Bye. Adios. See ya.